It came from the depths. It moved like thunder toward the unsuspecting town of Sheboygan. The world was never going to be the same. Released by SPI in 1979, The Creature That Ate Sheboygan is an out-of-print game designed for 2 players. One player takes the role of the police, fire department, National Guard, and the townsfolk of Sheboygan, while the other player plays the monster. Victory is achieved when the monster is killed, when all the humans have been eliminated, or when the victory level of the monster has been achieved, namely by destroying much of the town. The components for the game start with the various creatures that are running amok around Sheboygan. They also include the police, fire department, and National Guard infantry, tanks, and artillery. Plus, you'll find the populace, rubble, and fire markers, along with randomizer chips that can be used instead of dice. The monster player starts by creating their fearsome beast through the use of initial strength points. The points let the players create their attack, defense, movement, building destruction, and special abilities, although they cannot have a defense strength greater than 15, and at least 25% of the points must be spent on special abilities. The human player uses their initial strength points to buy the personnel and equipment needed to destroy the monster. The firefighters and the fireboat are free if the monster player chooses fire breathing as one of their special abilities. Once the monster and human player are finished with purchasing abilities and units, the monster player secretly chooses which of the 4 sides of the map their creation will enter. The human player will then set up their forces, although they cannot set up any units along the edge of the map. Now, the hapless populace is placed in each box that contains a population symbol. There are 5 basic scenarios that are included with the game: Learning, Basic, Advanced A, Advanced B, and City Eating. The City Eating scenario, as the name implies, allows the monster to increase any of their attributes by 2 points for every box on the map that they consume. This makes it more difficult for the human player to combat the monster while still protecting the populace. The game turns are divided into 2 phases, the monster phase and the human phase. During each phase or turn, the player will move their unit or units and engage in combat. There is the monster movement phase, monster combat phase, human movement phase, human combat phase, and the fire phase. During the monster movement phase, the beast can move up to its full movement allowance. Plus, 3 times during their movement phase, it can attempt to turn buildings into rubble. Once the monster player has finished its movement phase, it can engage in combats with the humans below. The human player may move any or all of their units up to their movement allowance. Once the movement is completed, they may fire at the monster. The fire phase starts with all firefighters on the map, along with a fireboat attempting to put out the flames. Afterwards, the direction of the wind is determined, which will direct the spread of the fires that are still burning. Assuming that both the monster and human player units survive until the game turns run out, victory is determined by the accumulation of points according to the scenario used. The monster player earns 5 points for every populace counter destroyed or consumed, as the case may be. The monster will also earn points equal to the combat strength of each non-populace unit eliminated. 3 points for every low building destroyed, and 5 points for every high building destroyed, and 5 points for every bridge section that was destroyed. If the monster player exceeds the victory levels as required by the scenario, they win. If they equal the points required, it's considered a draw. And if the monster does not reach the required victory point level, they hang their head, or heads, in shame and shuffle away from the city. Players can employ advanced rules to the game once they have mastered the basic scenarios. This includes the use of helicopter units, fording the river, and the spread of the fire. Some monsters may include fire breathing as part of their abilities. The historic notes of the rules provides for different types of creatures that can be used to attack the city. The monster player can choose which type of creature they want to use in the battle instead of creating their own using the initial strength points. The Creature That Ate Sheboygan is a fast-paced, fun game designed primarily for 2 players to engage in an hour or 2 of combat. Although long out of print, the game itself is relatively simple to learn, play, and enjoy as monsters from the deep threaten humanity once again.